Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to FortressCraft Evolved. I'm AxionEvolved, and today we've got problems to solve, and they start right here at the resin farm. I know you're thinking, what are we doing here? We set this up 20 episodes ago. Well, I'll show you here in a second. Before I do that, do me a very quick favor. Scroll down just a little bit, hit that subscribe button. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers, and it'll be a good time for everybody. So with that out of the way, let's hop right into this. Now, as we're looking at this system, everything appears to be fine, right? We got fuel coming out, we got resin coming in, but the problem is that we're actually not making enough. And what do I mean by that? We're not making enough fuel, and we're not making enough resin. But I don't really see, or I haven't seen a way that we can really increase this production all that much, honestly, right? So, a couple things. If we look over here, this guy's pinged out, empty battery. We look at these guys over here, these batteries, they're all empty, right? So this isn't keeping up. That's just the fact of the matter. Secondly, if we go and look at one of the most critical components that we're going to need to be making, geothermals, we've got 0 refined liquid resin. Now, this thing is kind of pumping out as much as it can. I've been doing a little bit in between episodes to kind of monitor and really get a better sense. And if I could get in here, I could show you. Right? So like these are completely empty. I moved the agitator over because it wasn't giving enough, like it wasn't letting enough resin grow. So I moved it from like here to here, not too far out, but it gives it more space, right? And now we can be collecting resin from all the different locations and doing this and that, right? So I did what I could, short of starting a second farm. I did what I can to kind of get the resin going. But we can see if we look in here, I mean, they've all got about 15, 16 liquid resin in there. So we're producing it about as fast as we can, right? These are pretty much constantly full. So not an issue there, right? So then what can we really do, right? We can, number one, figure out some way to make more resin faster. I mean, short of, I mean, I don't even know. They're all working, you know? Everything's working over here pretty much as fast as it can. Now, I guess that's not completely accurate. Let's look at the handbook real quick. I don't even know if it'll be in here. You know what? Let's look at this real quick. So if we look in here, something I was looking for in the last episode that I couldn't find, but I ended up finding in the suit area. So if you scroll down here, freeze-on injectors, right? These are super, super important for a number of machines. But if we go to the, I think if we go to the handbook, okay, so we got the freeze-on injector right here, right? And if you look, it does a couple different things. Number one, Lancers, it boosts the clear rate 28x. That's huge, right? Melters, it doubles the range. But here, ablaters and liquefiers, it 4x's the rate that it does everything, right? So, including, and then geothermals, it does 20x. So, that's a possibility, but logistically, that seems very difficult. And what? Okay, so this is just having issues because this is just full, right? I mean, it's fine, right? Realistically, getting more resin at this stage isn't the answer. It's just not, right? So then what else can we do? Because we need a stock of resin, right? Now, one thing I had done is I just closed this, right? I had closed it. I had 1,000 fuel in here. This is our kind of fuel buffer. Nothing, right? So what can we do? Well, I thought, and really, we're making the fuel just as fast as we can get the refined liquid resin. So if anything, this is in sync, but we need this to be a little bit, I guess, more. We need more liquid resin. So I thought, well, where are the areas where there's just a critical usage of fuel, right? Well, down under here, of course, the whole network of smelters and and all of this power, you know, this is all going somewhere. So we got the two lines that I'm looking at most here. That line, which goes down to the frozen factory. This line, which goes all the way over here, right? So these guys probably use a lot of fuel. Although, you know, maybe they don't. They've got internal powers pretty high. So, like, I don't think we're using a lot of fuel here. Where I do think we're using a lot of fuel is down in the frozen factory, right? Because if we go to the end of this line, you know, this thing is loading it to the brim. Well, I guess it's loading what it has. Going down and unloading. So I think this is load any, unload all. Bottom, unload all. This is top, unload all. Okay, yeah. So this is the empties, this is the fulls. But you see, like, this thing's full. It's still got 91 down there. So I feel like we're burning quite a bit of fuel down in the frozen factory. So I think that is the location where we can make some changes. But before I head down there, let me show you some of the other stuff I've kind of been doing to make our lives easier up top here. And surprisingly, number one starts right here. You might be wondering, what is this? Well, this is a basic conveyor belt crafter, right? So somebody in the comments mentioned that they used basic conveyor belts to feed into macerators. And I thought, well, yeah, let's try that, right? So there's a line that goes all the way down. It kind of, I think if we go down here, yeah, we'll see it right here, right? So it comes down here, and it snakes all, it like turns left at some point. I don't know if it's right here or not. Oh yeah, right there. So it turns left and it goes all the way over here. Comes all the way over here to this completely revamped area. Because there's a couple things that we need to pay attention to. Number one, this guy's going to run out soon. And that's a problem. The ores over here already all ran out, right? So what we have those two, it's two lines for the basic conveyor belts. They come over here and they kind of feed onto the existing lines for this, right? So that's great. Looks like this belt is completely blocked. What could be, is it all tin? It's tin? I guess so. The one line we don't have an overflow set up for. All right, well we can do that. But I also redid the overflows, right? So before, these two were offloading into these. I figured that's just kind of a waste, right? So if we go down here, what I did is I just rerouted those belts to come and up and feed this giant macerator farm we have here. And then this one, I think that's the tin, right? Yeah, so we got all this iron. So really, we're just in one big deadlock. So the only way I can kind of upgrade this is grab all this tin ore, and then everything should start flowing and everything will be harmonious and we're good to go. But I wonder why, how did I get this set up? Oh, these are after this. Okay, yeah. So I got the overflow set up here. No big deal. That's cool. All right, so this will kind of unblock itself, but by feeding in these guys, right? So remember, this is, I think, 15 basic conveyor belts for one tin or copper bar. So one basic bar makes 15 of these, and these macerate, I believe, from iron and lithium up. So we're getting a few more than tier 2 stuff that we want, but I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, you see, like, titanium gold. There's that. So mostly a lot of titanium, but that's fine. Additionally, we ended up getting, I believe over there, a huge, like, multiple nickel deposits. So our nickel has finally caught up a little bit to everything else, right? So you see, we got full nickel. And so what did I do to kind of help with that? Because right now, the nickel is used for a couple things. Number one, alloyed machine blocks, right? So this line hasn't changed, but you can see it's already, where's the buffer? Oh, is it this line over here? Yeah, this line. The buffer is already refilled, right? So no big deal there. But then I did a couple other things, and that little text you see down there is part of it, right? So number one, I doubled up our overclock crystal clock maker. This is important for the geothermals, and it's so slow, and I was getting impatient. So this guy holds crystal clocks, and so I just configured 2 of the overclockers to use the same battery to kind of run off everything. But that meant that we're now sharing that with the overclocked crystal clocks and this guy, but adding in a third smelter and something I'm about to show you made this process go a little bit quicker. So we've been, if we look at the inventory here, we've been making quite a bit of the chrome and magnetic machine blocks and HEMO blocks when we get the chance, right? So that's been working out. But the crystal kind of wasn't cutting it on its own, honestly. The single source I had just wasn't working out. So I added this direct lift right here. Now this, I'll show you how this is set up, but these are going straight into the hoppers above, right? So really this guy can, this one is being fed by the stuff over there with also space to overflow farther down. So like I think one of these is for like the pipes and one of these is for the heat conducting pipes. But this is basically dedicated to the crystal clock maker. So let's go down now to the frozen factory to see like where all that is coming from, what's feeding it, how we ended up doing it. All right, we're down here in the frozen factory, and just to kind of show you what I've been dealing with, this cryoplasm has been no joke, and we're starting to get further incursions, right? So that's a big one right here, but you can see it's all cleared out there. Again, I'm thinking about I don't know, putting like a midpoint row in here maybe. I don't know. Once we get bombers and cryo mines and stuff online, maybe it's not necessary. But for now, I don't know. For now, I'm just kind of as I need to. I'm just, you know, all right, well, we can't go there, so let's plop a battery down. Let's throw some lancers on there. Now, I could just, of course, I could just put glass on there and it wouldn't be an issue, right? And maybe that is the answer. Maybe that's what I end up doing, because I don't know if I want to get a whole Mark IV battery line, because there's other infrastructure stuff that we're going to need to put, like the magma bore eventually. So I just don't think I want to get all that done. And side note, magma bore is another reason why we need all those HEMO blocks set up. So now I think if we just get rid of this, it'll clear up that one, and then it'll do some stuff. So that's that. That's something that we're constantly dealing with. Our smelting infrastructure seems to be going pretty well. Like, I'm not noticing any slowage. All four of the, well, I guess not that one right now, but generally speaking, they're all smelting for the most part. So we're good there. But what I wanted to show you starts with this line way up here. So if we go back up to our crystal, and we're here, you might notice, oh man, this thing is like, it's working. So we've got a matter mover right there on our main crystal deposit. And that's doing its thing. That's fine. And this basically goes all the way, if we follow this, it goes all the way around. And I kept it at this upper level so it kind of wouldn't interfere with some stuff. But it goes all the way over here to this corner, where there's another lift. Now, I could have moved stuff, but I wanted to kind of do this just so I didn't have to do anything with the lift logistics, right? And this should be high enough that cryoplasm doesn't get there. So this is two different lifts fed from the same crystal deposit, and basically it's feeding all of our block making. So that's working out well. But another thing I wanted to do while I was down here, kind of the whole reason that the whole point of this episode, which is to deal with this stuff right here. This is, I think, by far our largest consumer of fuel. And I think if we eliminate some of this fuel, then we eliminate the need for making so much fuel, right? So what I want to do, and again, this is also dependent on a lot of the technology, right? A lot of the, like, all the technology is depending on this, and it requires maintenance. Now we've automated that maintenance because, you know, we're sending down all the fuel and stuff, and we're automated making that, but that still requires everything on the surface to work out well, right? So I want to kind of deduce which of these we can get rid of and replace with a geothermal. And from what I can tell here, Looks like these three down here are feeding that. They're feeding the moly. And then these three upper ones are feeding the chrome. And then this one... Okay, so realistically, we should be able to... yeah, we should be able to replace all this with 1, 2, 3 geothermals. 3 geothermals is probably actually overkill. But that's going to require everything going down. Which maybe is not a problem. So I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and start dismantling these 3 guys right here. And then we'll keep the geothermal right in line with that. And do that. So let's give that a shot. Let's start dismantling all this. Okay, so this infrastructure is now gone. But we need to make sure that things line up. And I need to make sure I pick up all the little pieces of everything. Because I don't know what got out of my my grasp. Okay, I think we're good. So we got rid of these 3. Now, what I need to do is make sure... I'm just going to end up putting this geothermal on the bottom. But I want to make sure it's centered where it needs to go, right? So let's throw this on a hot bar. Okay. And we're going to do... So that'll be the center, right? So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. There we go. And that's just an easy way to space it all out. Now again, there's a few things we have to remember as well. Okay, and then we're going to need... So, we're going to need to build this hole here. Right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, we're going to need to chill this thing too, right? Because... one important part about this is that 1,000 power per second does nothing for us. We need at least 10,000, right? And we only get that with, what is it again? That's right, freeze on. So for now, well, we need to put all the pipes in. Pipes are another slow thing. I wonder why it's like this. I guess it doesn't really matter. So for now, I'm going to throw pipes in there. And we have 666. That's appropriate. So this should start placing pipes. All right, so it's doing its thing there. We need to make the battery on top, which is going to fit right in this nice little hole. And all this infrastructure will go away once we have completely replaced this, right? Because something else we're going to need to do is fill this out. And we'll place... We can place the conduit now. It won't be a big deal. In fact, let's just do that. That way, everything is done. All right, so this is just fully set up now. Minus the, of course, the depth here. But we'll need to get this set up for the logistics hopper, or the logistics Falcor. And how much of this do we have? We're like just completely maxed out on freeze on, which is nice, actually. But we're going to need more. Because again, there's just not enough. Right? We don't have very many consumers, but we will. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, what do we need for these again? Crowd Plaza, these take Lancers to make? God, that is crazy. What do we need to make Lancers again? Imbued. Okay. There we go. There's a bunch. I want to make a couple freeze-on injectors just so we can kind of see what that looks like. Let's make 6. Yeah? I think that's okay. And then we'll put them on here. Freeze-on injectors. There we go. Okay. So let's go over here, and I'll kind of show you how this looks. Right? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just replace this right there. I'm going to put one right here, and I'm going to put a freeze-on injector right there. Just like that, and then we're going to put a hopper. Now, this may only like the vanilla hoppers too. That's what it's seeming like. Okay, so let's do this. Okay. So let's put the freeze-on in here. And then what I'll do is I will get rid of these, and you'll see how fast this goes. So, like, so much faster. That's actually crazy how fast it is. Yeah. And so it gives you X amount of shots. I think it's like 20 or something like that per 2 freeze-on canisters, maybe? Yeah. Or per 1 freeze-on canister. So, if, like, 2 of these could probably handle more cryoplasm than like 3 or 4 of those regular ones. Maybe even 5. I don't know. It's hard to say. But this is a really good way of kind of dealing with this. Again, if you can fund it, so to speak. If you have the production for the freeze-on canisters. So I think what I might do... I mean, I don't know. The only thing that kind of sucks is the range doesn't actually change. Right? Because it shows you... It only goes out to 9 meters, right? But, yeah. Well, that's freeze-on injectors. Maybe I'll set something up here where we have, like, 2 or 3... Like, if each one of these had, like, 3... Or 3? Yeah, maybe we do something where we have, like, 3 of the lancers right here with the injectors going down and the hoppers essentially floating right there with the logistics Falcor sitting right there. That could work. But I mean, look how fast this is. One lancer, and look how much it's clearing out. That's crazy to me. But it works. It's nice. So that's kind of one thing I want to do here. It's getting there. I think I'm gonna have to. I mean, I guess I could do it for now, right? We'll do this, and I'll put logistics Falcors there, and I'll set them to the freeze-on, right? Because we realized it likes that. Because you tell it what to get, right? So we do that, and we do that, and that should be fine. So it'll at least, 20x whatever power it is making, which can at least start to feed the system because we're out. Our Molly is not in production. Now, granted, we're not doing anything with Molly. We're literally just using it for magnetic machine blocks right now. But this is also supposed to kind of help us wean off of our fuel addiction here. And in fact... Oh, look, it's already bringing it back. Nice. Wow, that went from 100 and something to almost 2,000 power per second. That's actually really good. What were we at? Like 300 power per second before? That's actually... Or no. I don't know. Maybe we were at 100? We must have been about a little less than 100. I mean, that's not bad. For 300? For 300 depth? It's gone, what? 130 pipes? That's pretty good. Now, we'll need to go down to 1,100, so we're going to have to give it 300 more pipes from somewhere, but that's pretty good. And, like, already, look at that. Since we just cleared out, we've already got 400 of this stuff in here. So, plenty of freeze-on for now. But again, I want to get this all maxed out because that's kind of the name of the game, right? The more maxed out we can have this, the better. And eventually what I'm going to be doing is shipping this all up to the surface. So, again, I want this all maxed out. I want the sulfur maxed out, the chlorine maxed out, right? Compressed chlorine. And actually, what do we need? I bet we need resin. For some of... Oh, no, I want this. For some of the defenses, right? Let's see. Cryo mines. So imbued machine blocks are a thing. Dazzlers, imbued machine blocks. Cryo Inferno. This is actually how we kill the overmines. So we're going to need that. Melters need imbued machine blocks. So imbued machine blocks are a bottleneck, but we just increased our production of them. So not really a bottleneck. Look at this. This is so nice. It's just working out beautifully. 16,000 power per second. That is insane to me. Okay. Let us go back to the resin farm and kind of see how that's looking. Now, if everything's going well, I don't see a lot of fuel up here. So I'm imagining to see no real change, unfortunately. So maybe it'll just take a while. I do have a little bit of fuel on me that I picked up. That's a little disappointing. I mean, it seems like there's quite a bit of fuel production. Obviously, that's the stuff I just put in there, but it seems like there's a little bit. Again, I guess what I'm expecting to see is less fuel being consumed ultimately by what we send. Yeah, I mean, where is it all going? Where is this fuel going? So this is going over here. Are we using... There's no way we're using a bunch of fuel over there, right? There's no way this single generator is using it that much fuel. These guys are flowing, though. That's pretty nice. Well, for the most part. Looks like we are... I mean, we're processing. Looks like we're processing a lot of titanium, but we're still processing. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's still so much space in these. Nickel, of course, is not filling up. Because, like, there's no way. A little bit of gold fill up. That's nice. I don't have any extra ores on me, so that's good. Well, I mean, except for that. I don't know if we count that, though. So, yeah, I think the next steps is I just have to wait. Oh, you know what? We haven't looked at our board in a little bit. Jeez, what have I been doing? Oh, man. All right, mass-produced conduits we're still not doing. Sulfur particulate. Oh, you know what? We are doing some of this. Okay. Chromoly smelting, done. Freon, done. Toxic particles, done. Sulfur, done. Magnetic machine blocks, chrome machine blocks. Lancer and lens chroming were done. Geothermal is, well, let's make that... orange? How do I make orange? There we go. Almost done. That's in the middle. We're not fully geothermal, but we're not geothermal. What have we got over here? Mass turbines. Okay, well, we've done that. Replace belts. I'm still going to keep that orange. Quarry power solutions. Still haven't done. So, I mean, we're getting there. You know what we need to do is we need to update some of these, right? So this needs to be... What's our next one, right? So we need... Dazzler builds, right? And that'll make sense. And we need, what is it called? The magma bore infrastructure. Cool. I think that's pretty. Oh, static, or I guess, yeah, static / long range defenses. So that's the cryo mines and the bombers. Did we end up blowing that one up? I feel like we did, right? Yeah, I don't see anything in it. Okay. All right, so we're good there. Okay, So I think we're at kind of a natural stopping point for this episode. The first really good step, though, with that geothermal getting set up, because, again, that's going to be free power. I'm going to have to wait for the heat conducting pipes to make themselves, because, unfortunately, they're at the end of a line, right? Have my light on? Yeah. And we've made 70. But they're not cheap, man. These mesh weavers, 32 crystal deposit, that's pretty intense. So, but we can't stop. Ooh, are we full? Are we just like completely full over here? Nice. I need those. 500, 500. So this is what I've been doing. I've just been coming over here and just every so often plopping in 100 and 100. I could probably, and what I probably will do is make a splitter, a distribution splitter, because I still need these for a lot of stuff, but I want this to be automated without me actually having to do too much. So maybe the next episode we'll use like the same distribution splitter like this guy, where it can overflow, right? So I'll have it go like from here, it'll go, like maybe I'll make this a nano or something, or maybe I'll just keep that, right? But they'll come out and one of them will split this way. Oh, you know what? Can I make it over here? No, I don't think I can. But so anyway, I'll do some way where I have like maybe the outputs over here somewhere where I can just come and grab all the blocks, and I'll have some split here, and then these will just go into their own, or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. It shouldn't be too hard, but we do need these advanced machine blocks for quite a bit, quite the bottleneck. And luckily, this process is going fairly quick, but I will unfortunately need to grab some of these overclock crystal clocks, and you'll see this will start really straining the system. But again, this one is fed completely from that lift. This one is fed completely, basically, from the lift over there. Both of those going off the same source, though. So, all right. So next episode, I want to maybe do a little bit of defense stuff, get cryo mines and maybe even some Falcor bombers. I also want to hopefully have the generator stuff so we can completely replace the generators down there. And then I want to redo the power to the surface, right? Here, let me give some visuals on that. So I want to plumb this thing up, right? This line right here, so I can connect that battery. Hold on. I'm looking at some things real quick. So, so this battery, so this is powering that, right? And this is at what height? This is at 239. This is at, let's see, I'm at 245. So what I'm thinking about right now is the height of this geothermal compared to, so the top of this battery and the bottom of that battery. Because I need things to be on that level. May be an issue. They may not be. They may be. We'll see. I may, who knows? Maybe I'll sink one down a little bit lower just to make it better. We'll see. But I'm also noticing that I have this production right here. So if I want to keep these in line, I have that production right there. You know, if I want to put the other one very close but right over, then I'll have that. But I'll need to move for the chrome. I'll need to build a new kind of infrastructure piece right there. So like move this battery, put another one maybe in line with that, and then have it come down to here, right? So that's a thing. And then when I redo, or maybe, is this at the same level? It is. You know what? I may end up reusing this one, moving this one somewhere over here. So I'll put that there and a second one over wherever the second geothermal is going to be. So it'll go up to there, right? And then I'll connect a geothermal from there up to there, to there, to there, to there, and send power to the surface. Because if we can start kind of getting some of that power, some of this geothermal up to the surface, then we're golden, you know? We can start taking turbines offline. We can start basically having unlimited power. And it, you know, it can get a little tricky when you have conduits really close to each other, because sometimes these conduits, if they're too close, they like to kind of jump. But it seems to be going okay for now. But again, I want to get that power up to the surface so we don't have to, again, rely on the turbines, because I would love, absolutely love, to be able to power the quarries with geothermal. That may be the first, I guess, target. We may propose getting all of the quarry stuff onto geothermals, because we don't want the smelting area seems to be going okay with what we have in terms of turbine power, and we could always double up the turbines, and then our fuel farm would be segregated to just powering the smelting array and the transfers of all that stuff. So we'll see. And I've got, now that we have conduits and tier 4 batteries, I've got a whole different idea for the infrastructure down there, even if we're keeping the turbines. So anyway, I think we're going to call it there, everyone. I hope you guys enjoy the series. These guys are pissing me off. I don't know why they're not getting shot. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.